Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. And welcome into the Manitoba Hockey Podcast for Ep.6 here in Season 2. I'm your host, Graham, the G-Show Forsyth. We're brought to you by Terrico, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, goaltenders, elite prospects, and movement, fitness, and performance. A lot to get into today on a tight schedule. We're quite busy as we got the Buffaloes podcast coming out next at about 12 p.m. So, yeah, this episode's going to not be that long. It's going to be jam-packed with a bunch of scores, stats, upcoming games, standings from the leagues that were featured on the promo screen to start off this episode. And also want to do some more promotion here as we've officially set our schedule for this year's 2025 Husky Classic, as a Zone 4 high school hockey team in the Morden Thunder are going to be competing in this one. We'll have their game against St. Paul's 10 a.m. this Friday, but 8 games in total for the preliminary round, and then 4 playoff games, making it 12 in total. All the action can be seen on gshowproductions.uscreen.io, and we got a bundle put together as well. You can get the 12 games for $7 a piece. That's the single game rate, or if you want to save a bit of money long term throughout the weekend with this tournament, accessing it through us, it'll be about $39.99 for the 12 games in total, which is about half price for all the games in terms of the value if you pay for it that way. So yeah, different payment options available now on our Uscreen service, gshowproductions.uscreen.io. But yeah, let's get into some news. Not ideally, but notably what we're going to be talking about in terms of news is going to be just in terms of stats, scores, upcoming games, and standings from throughout the 5 different leagues here that were featured on our promo screen. So let's get into it. Starting off with the Manitoba U18 AAA Hockey League. Some big scores on the board here. The Brandon Wheat Kings and Winnipeg Bruins combining for 32 goals. I know they're not the same team, but that's incredible to see teams be able to put up over 10 goals, let alone 15 goals for Brandon, 17 goals for the Winnipeg Bruins. Central Plains also with a big win there, as you can see at the very bottom of the results on the screen, 11-0 over the Kenora Thistles. Kenora, a rough go for them as of late. These are the upcoming games. We'll get to those in just a moment. But as we take a look at the standings, Kenora and Norman, the only 2 teams that have yet to win, as well as the Interlake Lightning, the Winnipeg Wild, and the Brandon Wheat Kings, both neck and neck right now for first place. Same with Southwest. They're 2 points back of the Wild. The Winnipeg Thrashers are also undefeated to start off the season with a 6-0 record. for the Winnipeg Bruins. They've also yet to lose in regulation. The only loss that they've suffered so far has come in overtime. As we take a look at the upcoming games, as Central Plains and Interlake going at it against each other tonight. Interlake trying to get into the win column for the first time this season. Could be the battle of the winless coming up on Friday, as Kenora will take on Interlake. Then Norman also looking for their first win of the season, as they'll be taking on Yellowhead coming up on Saturday, as they'll have a bit of time off. And in terms of the Winnipeg teams, the Thrashers going to be playing against the Brandon Wheat Kings. That should be a fantastic matchup. The Bruins drawing Parkland there on Saturday. And yeah, this is just the rest of the schedule for this month of October. There's going to be 2 Halloween games. Eastman taking on Norman and Parkland taking on the Southwest Cougars. As for the points leaders, the Pembina Valley Hawks, they're liking what they're seeing, I'm sure, out of Carson Hebert and Cole Secord right now, as they're both neck and neck for the points lead at this point in the season through their 8 games played. Brandon with some notable names here on these lists. We also look at their goaltender in Moose Tail. I'm not even going to pronounce that first name, bother trying, because I don't want to butcher it, but he's got 5 wins so far. Only 1 loss, the best goaltender in the league, the Winnipeg Wild's Chase Kettles, with a 5-0 record, 9.4 win save percentage, and a shutout. Be sure to check out the Manitoba U18 AAA Hockey League's website at mmjhl.ca, as we'll be moving on now into some junior hockey league coverage, as we start things off by showing you the scores from the past week of games here in the league. The Steinbach Pistons, on the 15th, 7-1 win over the Portage Terriers. They followed up with a 5-2 victory over Verdun on Saturday night, and then of course they ended up getting the rest of the weekend off, having Sunday off. As for the Winnipeg Blues, they bounced back with a big win over one of the best teams in the league to start the season, in the Selkirk Steelers, 4-3. And that's in regulation too, going into Selkirk and upsetting, like I said, one of the top teams right now. For Wayway Capo, they got some revenge on their opponent, as they ended up, not getting revenge on the same one, as they didn't play the Northern Manitoba Blizzard yesterday, but they end up taking out frustrations maybe on the Swan Valley Stampeders with a 9-1 victory. For Wayway Capo, that breaks a bit of a losing streak. As we can see, it was a week where the loss column was kind of piling up for them. But in terms of the standings, where Wayway Capo sits, they're still 3rd place in the West Division. No team's been better there than the Dolphin Kings. And Selkirk, they're at 10-2-1, but the top team right now, in terms of just how they have it, and they have 2 games in hand, as well as the Steinbach Pistons in the East Division. The Winkler Flyers, a team that's been a championship contender these past few seasons, won the league 2 seasons ago. They start off with a 4-7-1 record. The defending champion, Northern Manitoba Blizzard, a team that has a lot of young talent this year, not many returnees, as they had heading into last season. They start off last place in the West Division with a 2-6-1 record. As for the Northern Manitoba Blizzard, they get a tough opponent coming up, Verdun, one of the top teams right now in the West Division of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. They'll also be back in action coming up, not until later on next week, as this is the only game on their schedule coming up on Saturday. There's going to be a game tomorrow, Verdun taking on Portage, and what should be a good one. Steinbach taking on Niveril should be an exciting matchup too. And then a battle of 2 Winnipeg teams coming up on Sunday, as the Blues face off against the Monarchs. And Rohan Guevara still maintains his spot at the top, 4 points. But look at Nicholas Goodmanson for the Winkler Flyers, one of their a few bright spots right now. ends up having 24 points in 11 games played so far. No goaltender has been better than Chris Quizzy, as he has a 7-0-1 record. No shutouts so far. Best on this list is Ryan Bellin for the Portage Terriers with 2 shutouts so far and a 5-1 record. As we move on into some Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League coverage now, as the Glen Lawn Lions, finalists last year in the A division. They start off with a 2-1 record. Dakota also with a 2-1 record, although one of their 2 wins has come in overtime. Last year's champions and the CGS Olympians. They have a point on the board, but it ended up being a loss and shootout for them, as they are still searching for their first win here in the league. And a cool thing they've done with the A division this year, actually we'll get into a moment, as we take a look at the scores as to start things off. We've seen some close games, competitive games, and teams handling their business. I mean, Glen Lawn opening up with a 10-1 victory over Selkirk. Just before Thanksgiving weekend hit, things picked up a bit last week too, as there were 3 Friday games, 2 games on Wednesday, and games really throughout all of last week, as we can see here. And we take a look at the rest of the schedule. It's going to continue to stay busy this week, as there's 2 games today, 2 games Thursday, game on Friday. So the next week it's going to be jam-packed, actually, with Monday games, as we see 4 there on the schedule. A Tuesday game, 2 Wednesday games, and then 3 Friday games. So getting a bit ahead of myself. The last week of October going to be quite eventful. Not this week coming up as much in the East Division of the half divisions. So there's 2 Division 1s this season in the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League, as we take a look at the other half of it, as the St. Mary's Flames and the Vincent Massey Trojans, as well as the Garden City Gophers, all start off with a 2-0 record. Westwood and John Taylor winless so far, and Shaftesbury is yet to play a game. But yeah, here's a look at the upcoming schedule here, or the games, that have already been played, as there's been some close ones to start things off here. St. Mary's with a big dominant performance, 7-0 over John Taylor, and then Vincent Massey defeating Oak Park by a score of 7-0 too. So those teams are really standing out so far, the ones among the top. But yeah, that's what I mean. Division, half division. I don't really know how to describe it, how to put a terminology on it. I guess we'll go with it's, half and half of the A division this year. There's really only truly 2 divisions in the league, even though there's Division 3. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs end up rolling out in this league in particular, with how they're going to put all the 2 top divisions together come playoff time. But taking a look at just the upcoming schedule for this week. In this side of the A division, the Warren Wildcats taking on the Sturgeon Heights Huskies. Oak Park, they're going to be in action against Shaftesbury, as they already actually were. I didn't see the scores posted on the website, as these matchups are for yesterday. The game going today, St. Mary's taking on John Taylor. There's going to be a matchup tomorrow as well, as the Warren Wildcats are going to be battling against the Garden City Gophers. And then we resume action next week with 2 Tuesday matchups, Warren taking on Vincent Massey and Shaftesbury taking on the Sturgeon Heights Huskies. As these are the results and schedule so far in the Division 3 of the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League. As look at that, College Belleville, a 7-0 win over the Beausejour Barons, aka Edward Schweier, and then a 6-0 victory over the PCI Saints, as Belleville started off with back-to-back shutout wins and is absolutely rolling right now to start off the year with a 2-0 record. The only other undefeated team is the Springfield Sabres, as Springfield started off with a 3-1 victory over Murdoch McKay, and then Murdoch McKay answers back strong with 2 back-to-back 8-goal performances. As, Beausejour and SJR starting off as the only winless teams in a smaller division in size in Division 3 here this year in the Manitoba Women's High School Hockey League. Be sure to check out their website for all the details, the stats, scores, schedule, whatever else at mmjhl.ca. Moving on to the Keystone Junior Hockey League, Junior B level hockey here in the province of Manitoba. The OCN Storm starting off last weekend with an 8-1 victory over Norway House. The North Stars much closer between them and OCN in the rubber match of the back-to-back series this past weekend between the Storm and the North Stars, as both games were at Norway House, that rec center down there in the Peguis multiplex. The Peguis juniors took a 6-2 victory over the Cross Lake Islanders on Saturday, and then in the rematch they followed up with a 4-2 victory over the Islanders, as we can see there. In terms of the standings, Peguis and OCN both near the top, and then the gap in this 5-team league drops off quite a bit there in terms of the points, as we can see, as all teams do have wins. NCN, Cross Lake, and Norway House, as we can see there, all with at least one win to start off the season. Islanders and North Stars tied at 1-3, of course, as you can see on the screen. KeystoneJunior.ca is where you can take a look at the stats here in the league, and when you take a look at, the upcoming games, NCN, the Flames, they'll have a chance to, maybe if they bring their best, they can upset OCN, but OCN seems to be absolutely rolling right now. They'll go at it again at Gilbert McDonald Arena this time around on the Sunday in that rubber match. And then for Norway House and Cross Lake, they're going to be going at it at Cross Lake Sportsplex Saturday night as well as Sunday night this week coming up. In terms of the stats leaders, big reason why these teams are as good as they are, look at the depth there for the OCN Storm, as they got multiple goal scorers with at least 3 goals, as we can see there on the screen. But no one's been better than Darian Sinclair and Brody McPherson for Peguis. 15 points for Darian, 12 goals, and Brody, the only one close to him in terms of goals, really, with 9 being second in that as well as in points. And those two been a big reason, like I just said, why Peguis has been able to have as much success as they have had this year. In terms of the goaltending, OCN's been getting stellar performances so far from Kobe Knutson as well as Logan Grenier. Knutson being a rookie, 2-0 record to start things off, and a .932 save percentage. Malachi Sinclair for Peguis, he's been, not the strongest in terms of the save percentage, but been able to battle so far and come away with big-time wins. Thomas Goymond, he's been able to also put up a win so far this year, as we can see. Nolan Sinclair as well for OCN on the screen, a .943 save percentage in his only game of the season so far for the league leaders there in the Keystone Junior Hockey League. Be sure to check them out again, as mentioned, at keystonejunior.ca. In terms of the Keystone, or not the Keystone, the Hanover Tosche Junior Hockey League is the Junior C level here in the province of Manitoba. McDonald's got a heck of a squad so far this year, as we take a look at this. 12-2 to start off their season. They follow that up with a 5-2 victory over Steinbach, 11-2 over St. Anne. And as we can see here, McDonald, they've just been able to win in many different ways to start off. Whether that's in closer games or blowouts, it really hasn't even been that close on the scoreboard, to be honest with you, between them and their opponents this year, as they've been winning a lot of games by at least 3 goals. As we take a look at the league standings. 52 goals in 7 games played so far, only 17 goals against. For McDonald, they weren't exactly at the top last season, but they were uh, a team that was within the top 5 in the standings. This season, through 7 games, they've averaged about 7 goals per game, and in terms of the goals they've let up in the 7 games, it's been, well, only about a 2.42 goals against average. So winning by an average of about 5 goals per game right now, it's a dream start for this squad, no doubt about it. East St. Paul, they've also started off their season undefeated, although they've played way less games compared to the teams in that top 3 as St. Anne and McDonald. As we can see, they're 6+ games played for both of those sides. The teams to start off winless, Landmark as well as Warren. 11 teams competing in this year's HTJHL season in 2025-2026. As, yeah, we'll take a look at, I guess, the stats leaders and why McDonald's been able to be so good, much like the teams in Junior Bay for Peguis and for OCN. It's high-level talent. Star-studded talent here is Weselek, Campbell, and McCollum, all the first players to reach over 10 points so far this season. McDonald also sees Balin Dilk in that top 10 of the scoring leaders here at 6 goals in 6 games played, and McDonald's also getting some pretty decent goaltending from the likes of Ethan Weeb, who has been at a .915 save percentage, but the man who's been carrying the bulk of the load in Jack Martin, a .905 save percentage. He's got a perfect 5-0 record so far. Niverville and Springfield, their goaltenders so far in their first games, pretty strong save percentages. Same with Red Rivers and Tyler Blanchette. Of course, in this league last season, it was Niverville who ended up winning it all, defeating Springfield, as Springfield's been a finalist about 3 years out of the past 4 to 5 years in this league of competition. And yeah, it's not shocking to see them within the top 4 to start off this season, as they're at a 2-1-1 record. Be sure to check out htjhl.com for the full stats, as well as taking a look at the scores and just the standings for yourself. In terms of the upcoming matchups, we'll see if McDonald can keep it rolling against Grunthal, as Grunthal, to start off the season, they're at 2-2. Red River taking on East St. Paul. Is Red River looking for a upset here, as East St. Paul 3-0 as mentioned, and a lot of other great matchups coming up, as it's going to be a jam-packed Saturday. Sunday is going to be jam-packed as well, and then they finish off the month with some weekday games starting next week on Wednesday in the Access Credit Union Arena between Red River and Warren. And as for us here at the Manitoba Hockey Podcast, that's going to do it for all of your Manitoba hockey news. We went through 5 leagues in this one. Let us know what you want us to cover next week, or in upcoming episodes, what leagues we should take a look at that maybe we aren't. We got the Buffaloes podcast coming out right away, so for now, I'm going to say so long. Thank you to Terrico, Movement, Fitness, and Performance Elite Prospects, Goaltenders, and Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia for sponsoring another edition of this show. Until next week, Manitoba Hockey Podcast fans, for episode 7. We'll see you then. Graham Forsyth giving you the peace out and waving so long now on this Wednesday afternoon. Take care, everybody.